Hi, my name is Nera, and I'm going to go over the front squat. The front squat is probably one of the most essential lifts in bringing up quad strength. And if you're a quad dominant squatter, it's also really good in learning proper squatting technique. So it's good to learn the front squat before you do the back squat if you want to be a good quad dominant squatter. When you're learning to squat, so the front squat has a much more upright position of the torso, much more upright when you're squatting. Then you can go to a high bar and then you can lean forward just a little bit more. And then as the bar goes lower down your back, you lean forward just a little bit more. With all squats, we're trying to have that elevator movement so the torso stays at one angle and you're traveling up and down. But as the bar goes further down the back or further towards the back of the body, you're going to lean forward just a little bit more. So the front squat is the most upright between the front squat, the high bar, and the back squat in a low bar position. So it's going to force you to have to stay the most upright while you're squatting. So when you're setting up the front squat, you want to get it nice and close to the body. You want to get it behind the shoulders if you can. So just reach your shoulders farther ahead. Try and get your shoulders past it. Now for some people, you're going to feel like they're choking themselves. And if you're choking yourself, then you're like millimeters away from being in the right position. So just get in there. It's above the collarbone. I'm getting my shoulders past it. If it's choking you, just move it back just a little bit, okay? Before I lift off, I always like to look up, get everything nice and set, and then stand up. Now, when you're front squatting, one thing you notice with a lot of people is they're just striving to keep it here. So the hands are holding it in place, your elbows are trying to stay up, and that's all that some people are thinking about. But just like any other movement, I'm always talking about standing tall. So what you see with a lot of people is they're not activating their spine and keeping it erect. So they come out of the squat and you see this happen, okay? Now, no matter how hard I push my elbows up, that is not gonna fix rounding in the spine. So it's very important to pull your head tall, because I can fight as hard as I want to keep my elbows up, but if I'm round in the upper back, I'll only be able to get my elbows so high. So that's gonna turn into me losing the bar and it falling out of my front rack position. So you wanna make sure you're pulling your head tall, pop it on a string, okay? That way your spine is nice and straight and my elbows can stay really high, and it's gonna be easier to stay upright and not get pulled forward by the bar or lose it. So the next thing is what's happening with our legs. So down here we're bracing 360 degrees of pressure, just like any other squat. When we're squatting, so we have to stay much more upright. So we're not gonna be leaning back at the hips very much. When I said in my back squat video, I talked about letting the hips drift back an inch or two. With the front squat, you're not gonna be doing that because you're trying to stay more upright. So you're just gonna be more trying to keep everything straight. Your knees are gonna still be pulled up. Okay, so like I'm pulling my knees straight up to the ceiling. I'm trying to keep all of my weight on my heels, okay? I don't wanna be rocking forward or back, and I'm keeping that spine straight. If your spine doesn't stay straight, you might end up rounding your pelvis, losing hamstring tension, or you're gonna lose the bar forward. So head tall, spine straight, whole foot, brace, knees up, stand up strong. So with the front rack position, when you're holding it on your shoulders, there's a couple different things that you can do. If you have very good mobility, if you're more into Olympic style weightlifting, then it's gonna be sitting in your hands outside your shoulders. I can't do that because I'm too tight from a lot of bench pressing, pretty much. So most powerlifters aren't gonna have it in a front rack position resting in their hands. So the other way to do it is to rest it on your body, okay? And then cross your arms, and I like to put my fingers on top of the bar so I can keep it from rolling, okay? So kind of put it on top and I'm pressing it towards me and down. Some people are even too tight for that, and that's where these come into play. You just use some straps. And then you can wrap it around like this. And then you can wrap it around like this. Okay? Now, either way you're doing it, you want to keep your elbows up, and the bar should be resting on the body, not in the hands or not being held by the straps. It should be on the body. Okay? So you should essentially be able to squat like that. The hand placement is more to keep it from rolling.